So today I'm joined with Jeremy Campagno, who's the head of EMEA at SCOR Business Solutions. You have had experience on both sides of the fence with being a broker with Marsh and Willis, and now obviously covering the Europe portfolio for cyber and technology at SCOR. Absolute pleasure joining us. Have I missed anything?
Hello, Sasha. Thank you very much for inviting me. My pleasure to be here. And no, you haven't missed anything. But what I can add maybe is, as you will have guessed by my accent, I'm French. So I was born in France. I grew up in France. I used to be based in Italy before being based in the UK. So I started my career at CNA Hardy in Milan, which I don't really say because I was not in the London market. But then I moved to the London market in 2012 on the broking side, first at Willis and then at Marsh, initially within the PI and E&O market. And then slowly but surely, I follow my peers who move from PI to cyber.
It's a natural move for you.
It was a natural move, as many of us have done. And I moved to the cyber market when I moved to Marsh in early 2021. And since then, been on the cyber side. And then after being at Marsh for a few years, I wanted to see the underwriting side.
Interesting. And what drew you to the underwriting side of things?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So, after being on the broking side for so many years, the underwriting side was an itch I always wanted to scratch. Okay. Something I was curious about, something that, I wanted to get my head around being the risk carrier.
Yeah.
Paying the losses, paying the claims, assessing the risk, understanding which part of the coverage will be triggering which type of loss. So I think broking, I always said that is a great way to start a career in insurance because you learn a lot of things. You learn from the client, you learn from all the market. And when you're on the broking side, you work with 30 plus or 40 plus insurer. So you have a very good general knowledge of what the client needs and what the market can offer. When you move on the underwriting side, you specialize more. So you specialize into the point of view of the company you work for. Mm-hmm. So effectively right now, I've got the SCOR point of view. Yeah. So I know what we like, what we don't like. I know how we want to write the portfolio we're writing right now. But it's a single point of view. So it's more specialist, it's more in-depth, it's more a deep dive into coverages, wording, claims, reserving, pricing.
How important has it been to remember those like broker elements though to it? Do you think you bring a lot of the sort of like client perspective into the underwriting practice now, having been on both sides?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is key. One easy mistake that one can do is to focus too much on to what we want to write and forget the bigger picture. So
who you're doing it for.
Exactly. Who you're doing for, who are your clients, who are you servicing? And at the end of the day, what are you here for? We are insured. We are in the business of paying claims. Mm-hmm. So we need to keep that in mind. And especially when new coverages emerge, sometimes you have maybe some conservative underwriter that will be like, oh, no. First reaction, they're like, I don't want to give this coverage. But often coming from a broking background, you will understand that those new coverages emerge because there is a need from the client side.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I guess to that, so obviously we know that you're working across the European portfolio for SCOR. When you look at the book today versus 3 years ago, one, has anything changed significantly? But also, if so, what is different about the risk that you're underwriting around cyber? And, you can take any angle from that.
Yeah. Well, 3 years ago, when I look at what we were writing in the book, so many things have changed from a risk perspective. So from a client perspective, the client nowadays are very savvy, very prepared. They all invest massively into their IT budget, into their cybersecurity budget. They put the right people in front of the insurer when they do roadshows and client meeting. So the level of of understanding and the level of preparation from the client side has rise dramatically. I think nowadays, if I look at the main buyers, they are fully aware what they need, how they need to present the risk, and they are fully aware of the importance of cyber insurance. From an underwriting side, if I compare the market today versus the market 3 years ago, I feel like the understanding of the risk has increased as well. So I do feel that the general level of every underwriter in the market has increased. People are becoming more technical, more asking the right question. It's no longer a tick-the-box exercise. Underwriters, they often participate to those meetings with cybersecurity experts.
Interesting.
So we go...
Come armed.
Exactly, come on. And then from a product side, I think the product has changed. I think there are more coverages coming out. Often, I think the product is more comprehensive now, covers more aspect and area. I think there are more services available for clients. But also, and maybe that's my last point, from a threat landscape perspective, this has changed as well. So the threat landscape 3 years ago was completely different than what it is today. You know, the rise of AI, the interconnectivity on the supply chain, the new conflict.
It's increased people's awareness around cyber.
Exactly. So the risk we are covering are constantly changing because of this threat landscape changing as well at the same time.
If I could merge those 2 points that you made together, so do you think that in terms of the organizations that you look at, and then you've seen the threat landscape and also the product has evolved, are clients who've got more sophisticated security systems or more sophisticated knowledge, at least, on what they need to have, coming to you, or the brokers coming to you asking for wider coverage, and that's where the responses come? And on top of that, if I can ask, is have you seen that, you know, the breaches that we are seeing in the market over the last few years, has it led to any particular industries that are more keen to talk about cyber and buy insurance and understand their claims, or is it fairly broad across the whole market?
I think it's twofold. It's fairly broad because it's on the front page of newspaper now. So obviously, you know, last year the UK was under attack. I would like to say, with the like of JLR, Marcus Spencer, Harrods, Co-op. So, and those making the front page of the BBC, the FT, makes that a general awareness from the public audience. At the same time, we have seen an increase in requests coming from manufacturer, retailers, because those industries were the targeted ones.
It's like you can see yourself being that incident. So, okay, that's interesting. Would you say that other sectors, even if they've not made the headlines necessarily, do you think there's a general growth still, or it's predominantly in where the incident has happened?
There is a general growth, I would say. Other sector, and the one that comes to mind will be the defense sector. Yeah. So in this day and age where conflicts are arising, unfortunately, there are more and more concern also from defense contractors to get equipped with cyber insurance. So that's something that flies under the radar, but they are very concerned. So there are like other type of growth, like other pocket of...
And as you mentioned earlier, you obviously joined the market when it was a hard market. We're now in a soft market. Is the current cycle of going from that sort of hard soft sustainable, and what do you think's driving it?
Yeah, I think the current market is very soft, although I would say it has started to stabilize in certain area. So I'm thinking of the SME space in the US, where we are actually seeing a little bit of push on the rate side, so push upward. I'm thinking of certain industries such as healthcare, airline. They are not seeing the same rate reduction that we have seen in the past. So don't get me wrong, the rate reduction and the rate environment is still falling, especially in Europe,
Okay.
because Europe has Europe excluding the UK has seen less claims, so the rates are still coming off. But I would say that overall, if I look at the global portfolio, the market is stabilizing, and this is great. I think a lot of people are still doing some analysis work on the previous year, so people are still like reserving, and claims are still coming off the 2023, 2024, 2025 years of account. So I think where we are now, it's okay. I think the market fundamentally is still growing.
Yeah.
So if I look at 2025 for us was another year of growth, and we have been constantly growing since 2018. So that's a good sign. So that's the market is still profitable, I believe, but we need to be careful not to drive it to unprofitability.
Yeah. And what would you say are the potential areas of error in driving it in the wrong direction, and how are you and SCOR and you know, colleagues trying to take it in the right direction?
Yeah, well, it's a collective work. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Because it takes only one to do the wrong thing, and then the whole pack follow. But what we are trying to do at SCOR, at least, we're trying to maintain a certain level of underwriting discipline when it comes to pricing. We are trying to price risk adequately based on portfolio, based on rate environments. We are still vigilant on wording and extra coverages, so we try to understand what we are giving away, how that will impact our loss ratio.
Being sensible, basically.
Being sensible, yes. Exactly.
And another question that I wanted to ask, and appreciate putting you on the spot a little bit, but a topic that comes up around cyber insurance, and you've touched on it briefly, is the claims aspect. And it is often a very long process in comparison to other, you know, more traditional lines of insurance.
Yeah.
How do you at SCOR see that process? And is the challenges around paying a claim, are they like novice to cyber because it is quite unique as a risk, or is it something else?
No, I think the claim process. First of all, I would like to get it right on record that cyber insurance do pay claims.
Yes, we've seen that in the statistics.
Exactly, and we've seen that in our statistic. And I think there are various statistics available around the market, but I think as a class of business, we are not a short tail and we are not a long tail. We are somewhere in the middle. So I would call it a mid-term liability.
Okay.
That's driven by the liability side of the product. I would say that the process are improving. I would say that the wording are getting a bit more standardized, and the wording are getting tested a bit more in a claims environment, so everybody is getting comfortable to what is payable, what is not payable in terms of claims.
And sorry to interrupt, is that because there's more claims coming in, so they can sort of look back over the years and say this worked, this didn't work?
Exactly, looking back at the previous 10 years, looking back at what has been brought in front of a court, looking back at insurer decisions. And also what I would say is looking forward.
Yeah.
We are, and at SCOR especially, we are more and more investing into AI to help with the claims process.
Okay.
And it's initial phase, but it's like with the triage phase and sort of, so I do think that going forward, the way the claims will be paid will be more efficient thanks to AI.
Because so you're automating the process. Is that more of like sort of predicting what the...
A little, yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's really interesting. And when you look at, is that system being input based on what... There's obviously the forward-looking element of like, what can we predict will happen within the cyber risk landscape? But is a lot of that system that you're building from actually previous claims and the risk that you guys are measuring across your clients? Is it sort of an element of both?
Exactly that.
Yeah. Okay.
Based on experience and future prediction.
And then the other question that I wanted to touch on is, we've seen a lot of new types of coverage. So some more of the sort of like MGA active insurers are coming out with deep fake coverage, AI coverage. Is that, and cyber is a very broad scope. It's not just necessarily as a hack, right? It's not necessarily ransomware. It can be through, a political motive. As an underwriter, how do you sort of like balance all of those different areas and make sure that it's not this hefty, long document that then gets passed on to the broker and like adds more confusion? What do you feel about the sort of questionnaire that exists today? I know it gets spoken about a lot. Do you have a perspective on?
Yes, we do have a questionnaire. I think, it's been criticized in the past for valid reason. I think a cyber risk is not a yes or no answer. I think underwriters should make decisions based on real-time data, based on information available publicly, based on presentation from the client as well. So I think it's a combination of using intelligence available plus real-time data plus scanning tools. So we do, for example, at SCOR have an external scanning tool. We do have an internal scoring system that uses AI. So I think the decision is bigger than just a questionnaire.
Yeah. It's like broadening out how you can analyze and understand the client. Has that evolving product and analysis, like risk analysis, come from the customer feedback that you've had over the years? From your perspective, what does an underwriter need to do to improve client trust and the understanding that you know their cyber risk and you can support in the worst case scenario and in hopefully not the worst case scenario?
Absolutely. I think so. One of the feedback was that the client didn't feel that the insurance market was understanding sufficiently their risk.
Okay.
We took this feedback on board, as I said, using different tools, different method of assessment. I think what we need to do to gain the trust from our client is we need to be transparent, explicit about our methodology of assessing a risk, and we need to simplify the access to the product. So, it's simplification, transparency, and then working with clients as well. We need to provide feedback, provide intel. We do collect a lot of data, and we do in terms of risk data and in terms of claims data. So we do have a lot of information that we can pass on to the client for their benefit as well.
And where does the broker's role stand in that, in terms of helping support, improve the information that you can share with the client?
I think the broker is key, and especially as if we separate the type of client, so they're obviously the large corporate clients that are very savvy, still need an insurance broker to get access to the market and a good, fair price and comparison. SME is all about the distribution, so the small and medium enterprises, small businesses around the country that are target and could be in need of a cyber insurance. For them is all about simplifying the product, making the product accessible. So the broker has a lot of role to play, a role as an advisor to large corporate, but a role as a distributor for SMEs. So I think the broker role in this current market is crucial and key.
And how well do you think they're doing it, if I could put you on the spot there?
No. Look, I come from the broking community. I have a lot of respect for them. I know what it is to be a broker. They are doing the hard work. They are running around. They are doing a lot of advertising, a lot of education, explaining. So they are the one that come up with, also innovative solutions, new coverages. They explain the current wording.
See the challenge that directly the client has.
See the challenges from the client side. They are also scratching their heads to try new area of growth, so new distribution avenues. So they are doing a great job out there, and we need them.
Yeah. No, well, they are key to the whole process. And another question that I wanted to sort of like dig into a little bit is around pricing a fairly volatile market. I am not an underwriting expert, and I think a challenge that we see from the insureds that we speak to is they aren't insurance experts or risk experts. How do you explain to the client where you got their sort of premium from? And do you find that is a challenge in terms of communication, or you've got sort of like, exactly how to put it in layman's terms almost?
Do you mean like coming up with the pricing?
Yeah.
So pricing and adequacy, they go together, and those are a little bit like the $1 million question. What is an adequate pricing right now? One can argue that if there is no claims, you can go even cheaper because the money from the premium is free money almost. So, but obviously we know this is not the case. We know there are claims being paid. We know the US market has had claims even in the UK. There has been some near misses. So I think for us, we have pricing model, we have actuaries. We based our pricing tool based on experience, based on current market environment, based on plan loss ratio and forecast. So it's a combination of what we think will happen, knowing what had happened.
No, that makes sense. Not an easy task.
Not an easy task. Is and the underwriting works hand in hand with the actuaries and the pricing guys.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I use this like analogy about AI. Everything happens so much quicker. An attack happens quicker. You can defend something quicker. You get the information quicker. Do you think cyber insurance as a sector has been able to also respond quicker in terms of, okay, we need to add this, and if you could draw back at any point, and obviously can keep it anonymous, have you gone through an example that you've experienced on the broking side, on the underwriting side, that's made you like rethink how you do your insurance process, whether that's underwriting a risk, pricing a risk, supporting a client? Has there been did you ever have like an aha moment?
I don't have a aha moment per se, but I do think that the insurance market, especially for the cyber line of business, is changing quickly. We are a young market. We are a young line of business. Cyber is a relatively recent market. I would say, you can argue how old is the cyber market, 15 years plus, more or less. I do think that if you compare those 15 years versus the property of the marine, marine, we are talking, I think Lloyd's of London was created in the 1700s, like 300 years ago.
Doesn't stand a chance.
Exactly. So we don't have 100 years of historical data. So we can ask for a 5 years loss history. So I do think we are a young market. Having said that, I do think we are adapting and reacting quite quickly. So when the first cyber insurance policy were put together and sold to clients, it used to be called network liability, or it was an endorsement at the back of a PI policy. But I do think that the market has done a great job in putting together a product that is relevant and that is a good 360-degree product.
And a standalone line.
And a standalone line.
Because there's sometimes debate about that, right? In terms of when you look at like OT risk on the property side, where does cyber sit with property? Where does cyber sit with AI? Like it is complicated because it kind of touches.
It touches a lot of things. Someone may be tempted to call it like a catch-all policy. But it's an amazing product. It has a first-party element, it has a BI element, it has a third-party element. So it's a product that will help clients very much in their journey to protect them against financial losses arising out of a cyber event. So if you think about it, the work that has been done in the past 10 years by everyone in the market, underwriters and brokers, has been amazing.
Yeah.
But it's only been 15 years or,
Yeah.
we need more time. We have adapted. We will continue to adapt. The rise of AI is something that is on everybody's radar right now. And we use AI internally to, as I said earlier, for the claims process, for the underwriting process. We will continue to, I think my gut feeling is that the cyber insurance policy will continue to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
We are not yet a standard product.
Yeah. And to that, so where do you think the growth will go? And like how high is too high almost?
I think there's still plenty to be done. I think when you look at projection from 3 or Howden or Munich Re, not to mention, but projection from the industry that says that the cyber market will reach 30 billion or 40 billion in the next 4 or 5 years' time. I think there are plenty to be done. Some sectors are underpenetrated. So I'm thinking of the SME sector, obviously. I'm thinking of some territories, geography, LATAM, Asia Pacific.
Yeah.
So India, huge country, huge population, a lot of companies, businesses are not buying cyber insurance
Really?
right now. So
large ones as well in that region?
Large one, medium-sized one. So if you think of all those areas, plus I'm thinking of the personal line, so that's something that comes up more and more. Like, would there be a need for cyber personal line product? So that could be an area of growth. And then obviously like the new coverage and the new products. So it could be an AI product, a standalone AI product that everyone mentioned. We are monitoring all of that. We are assessing all of that. We are keeping close to the growth opportunity. It could be a parametric product for BI losses, for example. So yeah, I think there are plenty.
You've only really just touched the surface.
In terms of sector, location, product, we only scratched the surface.
Yeah. And do you think SCOR's growth will sort of reflect that in terms of how you can access? Like, do you guys operate in the APAC region?
We have offices in Singapore. It's on the reinsurance side, not on the direct side. We would like to start operating. So yes, it's something that is very much on our radar.
Exciting time to be in cyber, Jeremy.
It is.
And another area that I just wanted to touch on a little bit is we mentioned, how do you get customers' trust? How do you understand the client's requirements when it comes to cyber risk and insurance? Where do you think the coverage disputes of the future are going to come from as you start expanding into different areas?
Yeah, for me, if I have to mention one thing, I would say probably the future coverage dispute will arise from AI liability.
Okay, yeah.
What I mean by AI liability is who is liable for AI, and when the claims come in. So it's not a matter of AI being used as a vector to attack a company. So that is covered. There's no doubt around that.
That's already written in the policy.
Already written in the policy. Well, I think we will see AI liability claims on company disputing who owns the model, who trains the model, who is liable for the model.
Who's responsible for the error or the fault.
Or the hallucination, exactly.
Because also surely that is a complicated one because it could fall on the employee, right? It could fall on the tool or the system that implemented the tool. Or
Well, I think that will be one of the disputes in the future.
Yeah.
Where does it fall?
Here we are, should we try? It'd be a good sort of, the sort of tabletop exercises. Yeah. Do an exact one of, okay, who do we blame? Well, Jeremy, it's been so insightful having a chat with you. What I want to ask as we close, and I ask everyone that sits down in the chair this, is if you could give one piece of advice or even there's a thought that you have and not enough people question you about it to the sector on the client side, on the insurance side, what would it be to leave our audience with?
Yeah, a piece of advice would be more for the new generation. If someone is looking for a job, I always say like the insurance industry is such a hidden gem. I think we have a lot of fun in the market. I think if I had a young person asking me for a job, I would definitely recommend joining the insurance industry, and especially the cyber market, because the cyber market is new. As I said earlier, there are so many things to be done.
Huge growth opportunities.
Huge growth opportunities. So if someone is watching, listening, has got a lot of idea, is someone bright, wants to make a difference, wants to have an impact, I would highly recommend coming into the cyber insurance market. On the market side, I would like to leave with that closing remark that we have done collectively an amazing job so far. I believe there are a lot of clients really happy with what they've got. I believe claims have been paid and the product has shown its value. But we've got more to do. The market is still growing, so there's a lot of exciting stuff lying in front of us. And underwriters, brokers should work together with risk managers and decision makers to grow this market, to make it sustainable. It's not a race to the bottom. That would be wrong, because if we just focus on top line, nobody will be there in 10 years down the line, because the risk is a systemic risk.
Yeah.
So the risk is across multiple industry and is a big one. But if we all work intelligently together, I think we can make a difference, and we can bring this market to being the crown jewel, or one of the top 3 product that risk manager and CEO across the world will think of when they think of buying insurance.
Yeah, join the dots up and really improve that communication across the whole chain.
Exactly.
Poignant remark at the end, Jeremy. Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure having you join us, and looking forward to seeing more about what happens from SCOR and yourself.
Thank you so much, Sasha, for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. How was that?
That was really good.
Did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed it.
Good.
I'm just gutted, and it was playing on the back of my mind about the introduction. I should have...
You were brilliant at it. Don't let it play in the back of your mind. Because also, everything you said was perfect.
Yeah? You don't want to redo the introduction?
We can redo it if that will make you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, because I think at the beginning I was like, and then you're like, no, carry on.
Yeah. But would you like to start? Let's start again.
Shall we just do the intro, not the question?
Yeah,
so you can have 2 intro. What do you think?
Thanks. Cut it in.
Yeah.
Swap it with the
My
other.
problem.
My favourite thing is I go, yeah, Jeff can do it.
Did you see them? We have on our legs. Do you see the paper?
Yeah, you can see the big.
Oh, okay.
This box.
It's not back. Yeah, it's not.
Sorry, that's my bad.
Because then I think I feel like I find my rhythm.
Yeah.
And then we find the flow.
You got straight into the rhythm. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, really enjoy it.
Oh,
A really
good.
good question, so thanks so much. But then I was like, the introduction, I should have.
Oh, I'm exactly the same. It's like, I wish I worded that differently. I did it better. Well, we can redo it. It's so easy.
Should we? Yeah, sure. And then,
So
at least we have the introduction without the paper.
Yeah.
With the paper away.
Should we do it without the paper?
Yeah, probably.
So, you can still see it.
Yes.
Perfect.
Let me just check because I don't want to miss out Marsh and Willis. Imagine if I said Lockton, that'd be really
That'd be a funny one.
right. Should we need a break? Okay. So today I'm joined with Jeremy Campagno, who's the head of EMEA at SCOR Business Solutions. You have had experience on both sides of the fence with being a broker with Marsh and Willis, and now obviously covering the Europe portfolio for cyber and technology at SCOR. Absolute pleasure joining us. Have I missed anything?
Hello, Sasha. Thank you very much for inviting me. My pleasure to be here. And no, you haven't missed anything. But what I can add maybe is, as you will have guessed by my accent, I'm French. So I was born in France. I grew up in France. I used to be based in Italy before being based in the UK. So I started my career at CNA Hardy in Milan, which I don't really say because I was not in the London market. But then I moved to the London market in 2012 on the broking side, first at Willis and then at Marsh. Initially within the PI and E&O market. And then slowly but surely I follow my peers who move from PI to cyber.
It's a natural move for you.
It was a natural move, as many of us have done. And I moved to the cyber market when I moved to Marsh in early 2021, and since then been on the cyber side. And then after being at Marsh for a few years, I wanted to see the underwriting side.
What led you to the underwriting side? What was most sort of interesting, having seen it from the broker perspective? You thought, I've got to give it a go.
100%. I think it's always good to start a career in the broking side. Of course, I would say that because I've done it. But
Learn from experience.
Learn from experience. But I do feel that on the broking side, someone will learn a lot about what client needs, learn a lot about the market, what the market can offer. But I think at some point in a career, if you want to specialize into one line of product or like one line of business, one product, is good to move to the underwriting side where you become more of an expert. So it's more like deep dive into coverage, product, pricing, reserving, claims. So a lot of different topics that you don't see from the broking side. But again, the broking side, 360-degree vision, knows what the client wants and needs, knows what all of the market can offer, so 40+ insurer. And for me specifically, I feel like after being on the broking side for 12 years, I reached a point in my career where it was the right time to move to the underwriting side, to be like having a bit more like specialty.
Whilst using that sort of 360-degree knowledge and understanding of the client side, then put it into a more technical role.
Exactly.
Super, super interesting. I'm really looking forward to our chats. Thank you for joining us, Jeremy.
Thank you, Sasha.